Hello and welcome back to our Unified Modeling Language lecture series. I am Nadia Patel. Let's get started. So we are in continuation to activity diagram. I have already explained you what activity diagram is all about, its concept, its symbols and meaning of every symbol. So in today's lecture we will go through one block diagram which will help you to draw your activity diagrams and one example. So this is the block diagram of activity diagram. I have tried to make use of every possible symbol from our activity diagram and connected them in a manner that will help you. So if you see, this is the initial node and here is the final node. Between them every activity is going to take place. I have placed all the activities in sequence. Keep in mind while drawing activity diagram, the sequence is very important. Do not mix every activity and then take a arrow which is heading backward, which is not allowed at all. It is compulsorily read from top to bottom. So if you're connecting an arrow from activity 5 to activity 3, it is wrong. You're not supposed to do that. So what you have to do is find the activities, sequence them, number them 1, 2, 3 accordingly and then place them. After placing or before placing, next thing which you should do is find what activities are coming in sync, that is which are going hand in hand or coming in synchronization, or which are the concurrent activities. So here if you observe, I have made use of a fork. Now how to analyze a fork and how to find a join. So if you're making use of a fork, it will have only one incoming arrow and 2 or more outgoing arrows. So that means that activity 2 and 3 are taking place concurrently at once. So these can be two different activities, but they're taking place at the same time. So I have made use of the fork. After fork, I had to give a decision. So I had to give a condition. So I have made use of a decision symbol. So here if the decision is going to be yes, here you are supposed to place your guard condition. I haven't placed. So you keep in your mind and place a guard condition here. So if the condition is yes, I'm going to go to activity 5. If the condition is no, I will be performing activity 4. After decision node, I have to make use of the merge node. That means when decision node divides the activities into branches, it divides them into 2 or more branches. We will have to collect all those branches together. The flow gets collected and we will have to pass it on to the next activity. Now this activity is the activity which is coming just before the final node. So it is about to finish. It is kind of the activity diagram is over or it is completed. So you need to find which is the activity which comes just before the final node. Before that you need to place your join. Now here is the fork which divided the activity 1 into 2 smaller activities, and here is the join which has collected everything together, joined it and passed it on to the activity 6. Now if you are not making use of fork, you are not supposed to make use of join. If you are not making use of decision node, you are not supposed to make use of merge node. So these two come in pairs, like our opening and closing bracket. This is the opening bracket, this is the closing bracket. This is the opening bracket, this is the closing bracket. So they come into pairs. If you're not making use of them, don't make. But I think every system is going to have some concurrent simultaneous activities. Every system will have 2 or more decisions to be taken. So these will come into your diagram. If your diagram is not having them, that means the activity diagram is not detailed and then better not draw them. So if you're drawing them, make use of these symbols which are very important. So let us label them. Initial node, activity box, fork node, simultaneous activities going on. Here is the guard condition, decision node, merge node, finally join node, and the final node. So this is the complete diagram of a complete block diagram which is labeled very correctly, and this is how you should put them all together. Now let us go through how to draw these activity diagram. So it is going to show systems overview in terms of activities. It is going to represent one application form. So one thing what you can do is draw complete systems one big activity diagram. If it is getting very difficult, which will be difficult, and it has to be difficult because when you're drawing a complete system in terms of activity, it will have n number of activities. It can be 50 or 100 or thousands of activities performing. So that is going to become very heavy. So avoid this and draw activity diagram for one application form. Say for example, it is admission process system for a student. If your project is admission process, so if it is having an admission process form, which is a very big form which collects its students' personal information, academic results, and everything gets tallied, that becomes a very important application form from your system. You can pick that form and find all smaller different activities from them and draw it. So one example I have taken here is a system for an online product ordering system. It is going to have customer detail, customers selected products, customers confirmation about order, validations. I have written all possible activities which I found. This is how you have to sit and work it out. After doing this, collect the activities which come or which get performed simultaneously. Say for example, total payable amount, taxes, and delivery charges calculation can occur at the same time. So the next thing what you can do is you can find the next activity coming together. So according to me, the next activity which comes together is the date of order and delivery and reminder goes at the same time. So you can collect these activities together, and here you can find the fork and join node. Again, further find the different conditions. So one condition is customer's confirmation. If he doesn't confirm your order, we are not going to place that order. So this is the decision. If he is confirming it, then you will be calculating the total and so on. If he is not confirming it, you are not going to further calculate the total and etc. things. So this is how you should do it. Write down all the possible activities, collect them together, make some groups, find fork, find join, find the decision, and it's done. So here is the example for activity diagram for ATM transaction. These are the swim lanes. Now when to use these swim lanes and where to place them. If you think, what's wrong with the slide today, just avoid it. So if you think that there is some grouping of activities together, like I have done, here is the part where customer is coming, here is the part where ATM machine is coming, and here is the part where bank is coming. So these are the group of activities. So if you find such group of activities together, you can put a swim lane so that you can show a difference between the two blocks. So this is the block 1 for customer, the block 2 for ATM machine, and block 3 for the bank. Now it is not necessary that it has to come the way it is. For simplicity, I have kept a complete parallel line. Sometimes the dotted lines become like this. So they just go like this, the swim lanes. So that becomes difficult actually. So they become like this. But for simplicity, I have kept everything into parallel. So for you, if it is easy for you, like I have done, to place the swim lanes and then divide the activities into 2 or 3 sections, go on. If it is not getting easy for you, just drop this part of swim lanes. No need, not required. So here is the initial node. The customer is going to insert the card. He is going to enter the PIN. We are going to authorize it. If it is a valid PIN, we will take the amount. We will ask him to enter the amount. If it is an invalid PIN, we are going to eject his card. So let us consider that it is a valid PIN. He will enter the amount. We will check his balance. Okay. If his balance is less than the amount he has entered, we are going to show him the balance and we are going to eject it. But if his balance is greater than or equal to the amount, we are going to debit his amount. He is going to take the money. We are going to show his balance and we will eject the card. The customer will take the card and we will reach the final state. This is how it works. Now here is the decision node and here is the merge node. How to find the difference between the two? Decision nodes will always have a guard condition. Merge nodes will not have any guard condition. It is just going to merge together everything. So there are 2 decision nodes. So I have taken 2 merge nodes. This decision node is getting merged before showing the balance, and this decision node is getting merged before ejecting the card. So you need to find all these possible conditions, where to place the first decision node and when it will get merged. Similarly, here is the fork and here is the join. How did I found that? It is having only 1 incoming arrow and 2 outgoing arrows. So this parallel line is dividing check balance into 2 parts, or this decision into 2 parts. So this is the fork, and after fork I have joined it immediately. So here are the incoming arrows, which are 2 or more, and only 1 outgoing arrow. I have joined everything together and then merged it and finally reached the final state. This is how you should draw. How simple this diagram is, but it has completed, or it has covered every single small part of the transactions. So this is how your activity diagrams should be. They should be simple to understand, they should be very simple to read, but they should cover every single part. Okay, so again, one more thing which I need to tell you is, there is no such concept like a standard diagram. So if you say this diagram is a standard ATM diagram, no, it is not. It is going to differ with the person who is drawing it and with his assumptions. So this is how everything works. This is all about the activity diagram. Very, very simple. Do one thing. As soon as you listen to this lecture and go through the lecture, draw activity diagram, a smaller one, for your system, so that it becomes very easy for you to understand. I hope you understood this lecture. Thank you for listening and watching.